So today's session is all about Plan S. My name's Kirstine McDermott. I'm a Research Support Advisor from the library. So just some general housekeeping. I just wanted to check that everybody can hear me loud and clearly. So if anybody can't hear me, there's just a troubleshooting slide here just to, great, hopefully everyone can hear me, but if you can't hear me, please do sort of see the audio issues here. Sometimes it's often because computers or your laptop's kind of like turned quite low down on the volume. So I always find just turning it up helps, but you all seem to be okay. So if anyone has any difficulty hearing me throughout the webinar, please do just let me know. Okay, so there's various different ways to interact with me. You can use the chat, which is the speech bubble at the bottom right-hand side of the screen. So if you click on the speech bubble, you can enter into the chat. So do please use the chat. You can also raise your hand to draw attention to yourself if you have a question. And we've also got emojis as well. So do let me know how you're feeling. Feel free to use the emojis. So the learning outcomes for today's session are you'll be able to understand the principles of Plan S and why it was introduced, see the funders who are aligning their open access policies to Plan S, which is kicking off in January 2021. You'll be able to identify different publication routes to comply with Plan S, and you'll be informed of all the key resources for Plan S and where to go for further help. So Plan S is an initiative to speed up the transition to open access, where funded research is available immediately in open access journals or platforms. It's led by a consortium known as Coalition S, and that consists of 25 members across Europe, North America, Africa, and the Middle East. So the key principles of Plan S, publications must be published under an open license, so a CC BY license. Full and immediate open access must be achieved at the point of publication. Green open access in any journal is compliant as long as the author accepted manuscript. So that's the final version of the paper that's been through the peer review process, but it just hasn't got all the publishers' branding or typesetting on it, or the version of record, which is the actual final copy of the paper. As long as either of those can be made openly available at the point of publication, it has to have some embargo. Funders won't pay article processing charges for hybrid journals, and hybrid journals are those journals that charge for both subscription and publication costs. So funders won't pay for that from January 2021 unless they form part of a transformative agreement or a transformative journal. I'll talk a bit more about what a transformative journal and a transformative agreement is a bit later on. So Plan S funders are also committing to valuing the merit of work and not the publication channel in funding decisions. So Plan S was introduced really because the academic publishing industry has crazy huge profit margins to rival Google, Apple, and Amazon. In 2017, Elsevier's annual profits exceeded £900 million. So it's kind of a big sort of global monster, and it's the academic publishing industry is valued at over £19 billion, and this is obviously really unsustainable for institutions because researchers are providing the work and funders and universities are really footing the bill here, and they're having to pay colossal fees not only to publish but also to pay to access all the content as well. So it's kind of trying to kind of sort of tame this system slightly. So hybrid journals, those are where some of the journals are open access and the other content is only accessible via subscriptions. So this is known as double dipping. This is when universities and organisations and funders are having to pay twice for both journal subscriptions and for publishing fees as well. So as publishers' income increases from article processing charges, and that's the fees for publishing, many publishers fail to adjust subscription prices accordingly. So at Leeds, in 2017-18, the average APC for hybrid cost around £2,000, but for pure gold, the average cost was around £1,600. So there's a massive difference there. Unfortunately, I think personally, I think the goal of Plan S has been to really try and tame this kind of beast, the financial profits of publishers, and trying to make academic publishing more sustainable. Unfortunately, I think it's still quite, I don't think publishers are going to go out of pocket anytime soon, because we're seeing quite high prices still for transformative journal fees and for transformative agreement packages. So the fees are very high still. But hopefully, the actual primary goal that funders are interested in is to actually increase the amount of publications that are made open access. So with this, I think Plan S is going in the right direction, because for funders, they've been funding and supporting the hybrid model, but it's not really bringing about the full open access transformation that funders are seeking. So it's just been far too slow. So in 2016, it was estimated that 76% of research published was behind a paywall on publication, and it's just not good enough, because obviously funders are putting in so much money into this system, and they really need the research to be made immediately open access. So these are all the funders who make up Plan S. These are the national European funders and the charitable foundations and sort of the wider global funders as well. There is some more initiatives at the bottom under the Sao Paulo statement. So they're just other initiatives similar to Coalition S that are trying to do the same thing Coalition S is doing, trying to advocate for full open access, but they're different organisations, different initiatives doing similar work. So I'm just going to ask you a question now. How do you think the academic publishing industry can improve? So I'm just going to leave you a couple of minutes just to type into chat your thoughts about that. It'd be really interesting to hear them. So we'll just give people a couple of minutes just to answer the question. So if you'd like to type in any ideas into the chat, which is on the bottom right-hand side of the screen, the chat bubble, you can type in any thoughts in there. It's okay if nobody has anything to add, but just give people another minute just in case anybody wants to add anything. Reduce costs, yeah, definitely, yeah. Thank you, Nick. Yeah, it's still a long way to go to making the publishing industry sustainable. Efforts definitely need to be made, I think, to improve the costs of publishing, and Plan X hasn't succeeded in that yet. Make 20 years articles freely available. Yes, yes. Yeah, so making articles that have been available in the past available. Pay for peer review, that's a great one, Nick. Thank you very much. Yes, paying for peer review, because obviously the researchers are putting in so much work. Yeah, Julia seconds that. Yeah. Researchers are putting in so much work, so many hours to peer review. They're not getting paid at all for it, and it just seems like a really unfair system, to be honest. And I think, yeah, definitely I would be for that. More training for journal reviewers, especially non-native English speakers. Definitely, that's a really good point. It's so important to be all inclusive. Obviously, I think with a lot of journals, there is that English language bias a lot of the time, and it just definitely needs to be more diverse, in my opinion. So that's great. Thank you very much. I wish we could sort of like have a magic wand and make all these suggestions reality. Hopefully in the future, things will improve. So these are the current Plan S funders at the University of Leeds. We've currently got grants with Wellcome, UKRI, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, European Commission, World Health Organization, and Research Council of Norway. These aren't all the Plan S funders. There's a full list available, which is linked to on our Plan S web pages. So if you want to go and see all the Plan S funders, you can do so. But all the open access policies on our website that are affecting University of Leeds researchers will be updated come January 2021. So what do I need to do if I'm funded by a Plan S funder? So as of January, you need to find a compliant route, because you need to publish Plan S funded research immediately open access. So let's have a look at those following compliant routes. So these are the routes of compliance. You can publish in an open access journal or platform. So this is usually for an article processing charge, typically covered by the funder. There are also free, fully open access journals or platforms, and this route is known as Diamond Open Access. You can publish through a journal that's signed up to a transformative agreement, and that's a contract that merges the costs for both journal access and publishing, so it bundles those costs together. They're still extremely high costs, so though it kind of tries to resolve the double dipping problem that we talked about before, about institutions paying for both subscriptions and for publication fees, it's still immensely high. So hopefully over time, they will hopefully be able to negotiate much fairer prices. But yeah, it's still quite a burden on institutions, unfortunately. So transformative journals, you can publish in a transformative journal. So that's a journal that's committing to changing to open access. So it's a bit like a transformative agreement, but a transformative agreement is looking at like usually a whole suite of journals who are committing to changing to open access. So a transformative journal is another way that publishers can changed to open access. So Nature are doing this at the moment. Unfortunately, their article processing charges are still immensely high. I think it's something like about $10,000 minimum to publish in the Nature Transformative Journal. And I think you still get charged like $2,000 even if your paper gets rejected. It's just crazy. Sorry, Julie, I just where they are. So the Royal Society is that Royal Society of Chemistry? Sorry, Julia, the R. Yes. So where the Royal Society of Chemistry or the A on the scale, how do we navigate which journals fall under which category? Okay, so that's a really good point, Julia. How do we actually ascertain which journal falls under a transformative agreement, or which journal is compliant? I will come on to this later, how you can actually check your journal is compliant. So I will discuss this later. Just going back to the publishing routes. So green open access is another route of compliance. So that's when you make your author accepted manuscript openly available at the point of publication, or the version of record openly available at the point of publication. So you can do this by two ways. You can choose a journal that already has a zero embargo policy, or you can make your author accepted manuscript, or if the publisher allows you to make the version of record available at the point of publication, by basically retaining your author rights. I'm going to show you how to do this in a few moments. So there's a new strategy brought into place which allows you to do this. So firstly, just a quick note about how to find open access journals to publish in. There's a Sky Mango journal and Country Rank where you can narrow the journals down to open access journals only. You can take a look at the journal citation reports in the Web of Science. You can also check out the directory of open access journals. And you can check if a journal has zero embargo using Sherpa Romeo, which is a really good tool to check compliance. But just going back to the rights retention strategy I mentioned before, so this is pretty big because it enables you to basically publish in any journal that you wish, and make your author accepted manuscript, or if the publisher allows you, the version of record available on the point of publication. So authors retain their right to use their author accepted manuscript. It's your intellectual property, so you can do what you like with it. You can share it with your networks under a CC BY through your grant conditions. So funders are basically implementing and changing their grant conditions to allow you to do this. I'm just going to share my screen with you to show you the implementation roadmap. Just bear with me a moment while I share my screen. Okay, so you should be able to see the implementation roadmap. So these are all the funders who are adopting the rights retention strategy to support the implementation of Plan S. So these funders here are either known as early adopters or adoption to follow. So these are like later adopters who are updating their grant conditions at a later date. So you can see who the early adopters are here and the time frame of that. So you can check out when your funder is changing their grant conditions if you want to. I'm just going to go back into my slides. It takes a while. Bear with me, I just find the right slide that I was on. Okay, so So how you go about retaining your author accepting manuscript rights. So once your funders grant conditions are updated, so you can check out the implementation roadmap to see that. You can also use the journal checker tool to check this as well. I'll just talk to you about that a bit later on. So once your funders grant conditions are updated, researchers must inform the publisher that the submission is already licensed under a CC BY license. So you can use the proposed text in either the submission letter or the acknowledgement section, or both. So there's some text here that you can use, which is perfectly acceptable to use to do this. So on submission, you can do this. This text is also included on the Plan S web pages as well. So you can refer to it there as well. So you should just continue to deposit a copy of the author accepted manuscript via Simplex on acceptance as usual as well. So this should enable you to publish in any journal that you wish using this rights retention strategy. So the only exception to this is if a publisher notifies Coalition X about they don't want the rights retention strategy. So basically the publisher has to notify Coalition S that any rights retention language will be rejected at submission. But the good news is that no publisher so far has indicated that they will reject rights retention strategy requests. So that's really good news that no publisher so far has done this. So that's really, really good. So transformative agreements. So the university currently has transformative agreements, and this is where PhD students and research staff can publish for free and still comply with Plan S. So this is where basically that the university is paid up front in a big bundle package for both publishing in certain journals, but also being able to read their content as well. So we've got agreements with Sage, Springer Compact, and Wiley. So there's a bit of a caveat with the Wiley one at the moment, because unfortunately only articles acknowledging funding from UK Research Council, Blood Cancer UK, British Heart Foundation, Cancer Research UK, Parkinson's UK versus Arthritis, and Wellcome Trust will be eligible so far for that one. But it's always worth checking the transformative agreements on the website because they get updated when new ones come into play. So just going to mention the journal tracker tool now. I'm just going to share my screen with you to show you. Okay, so hopefully you can all see the journal tracker tool. I'm just going to click on the link now. So this is really helpful. So I'm just going to do an example. So say I was publishing in the Journal of Pain and my funder is the Wellcome Trust. So my Plan S funder is Wellcome. And my university is University of Leeds. I just fill that in and it tells me immediately that this combination is compliant with Plan S. So it also shows what options I have. The options for publishing in this journal are using the self-archiving rights retention strategy. So I don't have to go and look at the roadmap for implementation of rights of strategy. It will just tell me that it's okay to do that with this journal. So then I know then I can just go to the Plan S website on the library website, get the text I need to to basically use the rights retention strategy for submission, copy and paste it for my submission, check it's all okay. So it kind of does the work for you. It also shows any transformative agreement journals that we have, or whether a journal is like a transformative journal. So it covers, so you don't have to kind of think, oh, I've got to go through all the transformative journals that we subscribe to at the university. You can just get your list of journals and check which one's compliant here. So it's a really good tool. It's in beta mode at the moment. So the final version is going to be released in January. So I would really recommend using this if you are funded by a Plan S funder in the future. This tool is also linked to on the Plan S web pages on the library website as well. I'm just going to go back into my slides now. So there's some useful links here. So there's a link to the official Coalition Plan S website if you want further information. There's also a full list of all the Plan S funders and a link to the rights retention toolkit that we talked about before, and the Plan S funders implementation roadmap, so when all those retention rights strategies actually get updated in the grants. And the library Plan S web pages, I would really recommend that because it always gets updated. So all these links are included there. You've got a link to the journal tracker as well, and to also like the text you need for the rights retention strategy, so that you can make your author accepted manuscript available, or if the publisher allows you, the version of record available on the point of publication. So all the information is there on the library Plan S page. And if you do have any questions, or you need help with anything at all, please do contact us as well. So our contact details are here. You can also go to the research support library website, and our contact details are on there. We also have different courses as well you might be interested in. There's a Where to Publish course where we look at how to find sort of like the best places that you can publish for your research, and different tools such as Web of Science and Scopus that you can use to actually locate new routes of publishing that you might not have thought about, or just to validate publication routes that you already use. I'll just pause there for a second while I read Julia's comment. So what happens if a combination is not compliant according to the journal checker tool? The journal is having a special topics issue which is perfect for our research, and we've been asked to submit to. If it's the best fit for our research, surely this is where we should publish. Yeah, absolutely. So the rights retention strategy is really trying to resolve this problem of, not being able to publish where you want. So I think, like, hopefully, because no publishers have actually rejected the rights retention strategy, hopefully you'll still be able to use it with the special issue, Julia. So if you have any trouble at all, if you have any trouble at all and you think it's not, if you use the tool tracker, the journal tool tracker, and it's coming up as not compliant for some reason, do get in contact, and we're happy to check things for you. But hopefully you can publish there either by the retention rights strategy route, or by another route. Okay, but yeah, any difficulties at all when you come to the time of checking, do let us know. Okay, so we've also got some courses on raising research visibility, and research data management, EndNote and open access, different open access courses. I think there's one to do with symplectic, if you have any difficulties with symplectic. So yeah, please do contact us if you have any queries about Planes or about any of these other areas as well. I've built in quite a lot of time today for questions. So if anybody has any questions, please do ask. Otherwise, thank you very much for coming today. And if you have any questions or trouble in the future, I know it's quite a lot to kind of think about in one go. So please do refer to the Planes guidance on the website as well. Oh, good. I'm glad it's been helpful. That's good. Yeah, please do ask me if you've got any questions at the moment. Otherwise, thank you very much for coming, and have a nice rest of the day.